Hi guys, it's me, Has the Man, and to start off this channel I will review the game Sonic the Hedgehog on the Sega Mega Drive or Genesis. First you'll need to know how I will be doing my reviews and how I'll get a fair answer. I will play the game in the PAL region first and then the NTSC region. All I need to do is get to the credits. I don't need to 100% the game because it doesn't really do much. Time for my review. First up is Green Hill Zone. This was weird at first because the game runs, well, I believe 15% slower, and so does the music. Take a listen. After Act 1 I managed to get into the special stage. I grabbed my first emerald with ease and moved on to Act 2. I discovered in Act 2 that when you get the speed up shoes it sounds a lot like NTSC does the music. I also grabbed my second big ring and obtained my second emerald. Nothing much happened in Act 3. I beat the boss and onto Marble Zone. If you think Marble is slow in NTSC, you'll be shocked how slow it is in PAL. It is a pain waiting for the platforms to move. They just take forever. I inched my way to the end of Act 1 and painfully grabbed my third emerald. And on Act 2, this was even more annoying because of the moving stone block in the lava. This thing takes forever to move. I barely managed to get to the end of this act and onto the special stage 4. Because the game is running slow, you might think that it'd make it a bit easier to grab the Chaos Emerald, but nope. Because I'm used to NTSC, when I think it's the perfect time to jump, I jump a little too early, causing me to die and fall into the special stage like end block, whatever they're called. Now it's time for Act 3. Because I've already talked about the speed of the zone, I'll talk about something else. The object placement. This can be bad, and when I want to jump over the lava, I end up jumping into one of them fireball things, making me lose all of my rings. But other than that, I managed to get to the boss and defeat it. On to Spring Yard Zone. Spring Yard Zone is fun, but in PAL it's not as fun because Sonic doesn't go as fast as he does in NTSC, so it is not as satisfying, but it's still fun anyway when he goes fast. At the end of Act 1, I got into the special stage 5. Just like Marble Act 2, I failed this one as well. It's probably just a skill issue this time. On to Act 2. Act 2 is just like Act 1 but with worse enemy placement. I just kept getting hit over and over again, and those fake Sonics can go do one. But I managed to obtain 50 rings into special stage 6. This time I managed to get my 4th emerald. Act 3 is much easier than Act 1 because it has easier level design and a good boss. Onto Labyrinth. Guess what guys, I hate Labyrinth Zone, but in PAL it's surprisingly better than it is on NTSC because the whole game in PAL feels like it's in an underwater level anyway. So when you get to Labyrinth Zone, it just feels like you're on land in NTSC. I also managed to get back into Special Stage 4 to get my 5th emerald this time for Act 2. Normally, Act 2 is annoying because of the enemy placement, but this time you get a few extra frames to crouch or jump over enemies. I got the big ring as well and finally got all 6 emeralds. Act 3 was annoying, not because of the game, no. It's because of me. I went to click save state in RetroArch, but instead I clicked exit game. So I had to slowly beat all the levels again and back to Labyrinth. This time I only failed one special stage, which was good. I managed to get to the top of the labyrinth, but I didn't beat the boss because it's too hard. Now, on to Starlight. For Starlight, I'm only going to twine about 2 things. Them circle things with spikes around. Wait, what they're called again? Harbinaut! And the bombs. And again, the object placement was bad. But on the other hand, Starlight is still fun and good. And one of my favourite zones. I managed to beat Starlight and on to Scrap Brain. Scrap Brain Act 1 is fun because of the gimmicks like at the start of the act with the button and the spinny thing. One gimmick I don't like is the appearing and disappearing platforms, because in PAL they take forever, but I managed to finish Act 1 and moved on to Act 2. This is the act where the problems of the zone start to show because there's no checkpoint, so when you die you start from the beginning of the act. I managed to beat Act 2 and moved on to Act 3. I hate Act 3 because of it's just basically a Labyrinth Act 4. Yeah, the water's purple of Scrap Brain's pollutions and the air bubbles take forever to spawn, but it is also the worst and the best way to finish the game off because you're basically climbing up to Scrap Brain for the finale. Now it's time for Final Zone. Final Zone is good because of the music, capturing that you're in the final level. The only bad thing of this zone is that there is no rings at all, so you are literally one shot, but I easily beat the boss, no problem. Time for my rating of Sonic 1 PAL. I rate this game 3.5 out of 5. The reason for this is that the game is good, it's just the slowness that's not giving it the full 4. Now I need to do the same for NTSC. I won't go as much in depth as I did with PAL because I've already talked about all of the levels. So time to do some NTSC stuff. In Green Hill Zone I found it weird to go back to the game after beating PAL because the game is going much faster, but I managed to brush through Green Hill with ease and got 2 of the Chaos Emeralds. Marble was more fun because I didn't have to wait 1,000 years for the platforms to move. I also got my 3rd and 4th emerald here. Spring Yard was way better because I sped through all of the levels like a madman, but the fake Sonic still got me. I also got my 5th emerald. Labyrinth Zone was bad, I hated it, I just kept on getting hurt. Watch this. Yeah, I managed to get my 6th and final emerald. Starlight was way faster and fun. I zoomed past all of the acts. Scrap Brain was basically the same as PAL. So was Final Zone. My rating for NTSC was 4 out of 5. This is because the overall game was more fun. This is my tier list of all of the Sonic levels. That means my final rating is 7.5 out of 10. And let's say my next review is going to be in the past. Thanks for watching everybody, goodbye.